Much to sort through here. Peter Mathews is again with us, political analyst and professor of political science at Cypress College. He's in Long Beach, California. Peter, thank you, as always, for being with us. So the president continues to be on a tirade of sorts against his own Justice Department. Let's listen to what he just said.
But our Justice Department and our FBI have to start doing their job and doing it right and doing it now. And at some point, I wanted to stay out, but at some point, if it doesn't straighten out properly, I want them to do their job. I will get involved and I'll get in there if I have to.
What's he talking about there, Peter, do you think?
He wants them to lay off of the investigations on him. And it's just unconscionable because I've never heard a president talk so condescendingly in such dictatorial fashion to his own Justice Department and to the FBI. It's very remarkable, Natalie, and I think he's very paranoid about what's going on with the Mueller investigation, what they're finding out. And he wants to stop them one way or the other. And he might even fire Jeff Sessions after the election. And if he does that, I think it's going to have a lot of repercussions in a negative way, because obstruction of justice is what he's facing in many ways. And if any kind of corrupt intent is established, that's a problem for him. And I think Mr. McGahn was part of the interview process where he could have revealed information to Mr. Mueller that establishes corrupt intent to obstruct justice on the part of the president.
Yes, and you mentioned Mr. McGahn, his White House counsel, who spent 30 hours with his special counsel. What do you make of the announcement that he will be leaving?
Isn't that crazy? I mean, look at this, one after the other. And it looks more and more like the president is determined to get rid of people who in any way tell the truth about him and his campaign and what might have happened during the White House couple of years that could implicate the president. He wants to wipe them off the picture completely. And I think it's going to backfire on him. It's certainly his hardcore supporters will love it, as they are. You saw at the rally in Indiana today. But the majority of Americans will not put up with this, and they're going to hopefully influence Congress in the right way. And I think there's going to be an attempt to elect a Congress that will do the right thing and pursue investigations on this matter.
Well, with Mr. Trump's former fixer cooperating, that's his attorney, Michael Cohen, with the head of the National Enquirer and Mr. Trump's top financial official getting immunity here, what might happen next? What will you be watching for as this just continues to march on?
I'll be waiting primarily till right after the election when I think Mr. Mueller will probably wrap up his inquiry and finally make a report and a judgment and then take it to Congress. And it'll be up to Congress to decide whether or not to act on those accusations if they're there and true and valid, and then perhaps put Trump through impeachment and then finally removal. But for that, you have to have enough members of Congress who will do the right thing regardless of party. And right now, we know the Republican Party and the members in the House and Senate are in lockstep with each other and don't want to in any way do what Congress is supposed to do. So I'm looking for that. It'll probably be right after the election when we can really see what might break loose.
Yes, and meantime, we have the president, going on the attack with that NBC tape that everyone has seen for months and months. Of course, he always attacks the media, and his base loves him despite his baseless claims. Do you think that they will stick by this president no matter what he says and does? At some point, will people start to break from him?
I think the vast majority of his base, maybe even 95%, will stick with him. But his base is fairly narrow. It's only about 35% solid support among the electorate. And it's still going to stay with him, I believe, all the way to the end. But there'll be enough, 5 or 10% that'll peel away, perhaps, if something really egregious is revealed, like they say some sort of real, not collusion, but actual corrupt action what the president might have had in the campaign with Russian help. If that becomes revealed completely, then you might see a larger chunk of his base pull away. But I think the vast majority are going to stick with him all the way to the end. But we'll see. We know what happened to Richard Nixon. Many of his people that supported him left him toward the end as well.
All right. Peter Mathews, we always appreciate your analysis. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, Natalie. Thank you.